what your eye color actually reveals about your health. Write in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is, so I can get to know you better. To support the channel for free, don't forget to subscribe and like. Look in a mirror and stare into your own eyes for a moment. That color, brown, blue, green, hazel, gray, feels like a simple trait you inherited, a cosmetic detail passed down through your family, like a nose shape or a laugh. But researchers have spent decades discovering that your eye color is far more than decoration. It is a biological signal, a window, quite literally, into the deeper architecture of your body. Studies suggest that eye color is linked to pain sensitivity, alcohol tolerance, hearing ability, susceptibility to certain diseases, and even aspects of personality and reaction time. None of this is mysticism or pseudoscience. It comes from the same underlying biology that determined your eye color in the first place: melanin, genetics, and the intricate way your body distributes and processes pigment at a cellular level. Over the next 12 minutes, we are going to decode what your eyes are quietly telling the world about your health, and what they might be telling you about yourself. To understand what eye color reveals, we first need to understand what creates it. The answer is a pigment called melanin, the same pigment responsible for skin tone and hair color. Melanin is produced by specialized cells called melanocytes, found in a layer of the iris called the stroma. The stroma is a thin, fibrous tissue that makes up the visible colored portion of your eye. Here is where it gets interesting. Everyone, regardless of eye color, has roughly the same number of melanocytes. What differs is how active those cells are and how much melanin they produce. High melanin production results in brown eyes, the most common eye color globally. Lower melanin production yields green or hazel eyes. Very low melanin in the iris produces blue eyes, where the color you perceive is not actually pigment at all. It is the result of light scattering through the nearly transparent tissue, the same optical principle that makes the sky appear blue. This isn't just aesthetic biology. Melanin is a biologically active compound involved in protection, neural signaling, and even the regulation of certain neurochemicals throughout the body. Here is something that surprises most people. Melanin isn't only found in your eyes and skin, it is also present in specific regions of the brain, including an area called the substantia nigra, a structure that plays a critical role in movement, reward, and the production of dopamine, the brain's primary motivation and pleasure chemical. Research shows a biological relationship between the melanin in your eyes and the neuromelanin in these deeper brain structures. People with darker eyes tend to have higher concentrations of neuromelanin in these regions. This connection helps explain why eye color correlates with certain neurological traits, including how quickly a person reacts to stimuli, how sensitive they are to pain, and how they metabolize certain substances. Studies suggest that darker-eyed individuals show faster neural processing in specific reaction time tasks. Lighter-eyed individuals show differences in pain threshold and sensitivity to anesthesia. These are not dramatic differences, but they are measurable and reproducible, and they trace back to the same underlying variable, melanin, and its role in neural chemistry. Eye color is not just a cosmetic curiosity. It has genuine associations with health risk profiles. And most people have never heard a single word about this from a doctor. Research shows that people with lighter eye colors, particularly blue and green, have a statistically higher incidence of some autoimmune disorders. Scientists believe this connects to the genetics governing melanin production, which also influence immune system regulation in ways that are still being actively studied. On the other side, darker-eyed individuals show higher rates of certain age-related cataracts because higher melanin in the iris absorbs more solar radiation and generates more internal heat over decades of sun exposure. Neither profile is better or worse. They are simply different risk landscapes, and knowing your landscape means you can take targeted, preventive action rather than waiting for symptoms to appear. Research in anesthesiology has found consistent differences in pain sensitivity and medication response based on eye color. Studies suggest that people with lighter eyes require more anesthesia during medical procedures and report higher sensitivity to pain in general. Dark-eyed individuals tend to metabolize certain anesthetic drugs more rapidly, meaning the medication clears their system faster. The connection extends to alcohol as well. Research suggests that lighter-eyed individuals tend to consume less alcohol on average and show higher sensitivity to its effects, including more pronounced intoxication at lower doses. This is not a measure of tolerance in a social sense. It is a pharmacological reality grounded in how your nervous system processes chemical compounds. Research has found that eye color correlates with hearing ability in ways that initially seem almost implausible until you understand the underlying mechanism. The inner ear contains melanocytes, the same pigment-producing cells found in the iris. Studies suggest that people with darker eyes tend to have better hearing in noisy environments and show lower rates of noise-induced hearing loss over time. Light sensitivity follows a parallel logic. People with lighter eyes have less pigment in the iris to filter incoming light. Less pigment means more light passes through, which is why blue and green-eyed people commonly report greater sensitivity to bright environments and higher rates of photophobia, discomfort triggered by intense light. This is not a disorder, it is a structural consequence of pigmentation levels. So far, we have discussed what your stable, lifelong eye color reveals. There is another layer that carries even more immediate health significance: changes in eye color or appearance that occur over time. A yellow tint appearing in the whites of the eyes is one of the most well-known clinical warning signs. It indicates jaundice, where bilirubin accumulates in the body, signaling that the liver may be under significant stress or failing in some capacity. It requires immediate medical attention. A grey or white ring forming around the edge of the iris before age 40 can indicate elevated cholesterol levels in the bloodstream. The ring is a deposit of lipids accumulating in the corneal tissue. Similarly, a pale appearance in the inner lining of the lower eyelid can signal anemia, a shortage of red blood cells. The eyes record changes in blood chemistry in ways that are visible before other symptoms emerge. If you have lighter eyes, blue, green, or grey, UV protection is genuinely non-negotiable. Research consistently shows higher rates of macular degeneration in lighter-eyed populations with significant lifetime sun exposure. Quality sunglasses that block both UVA and UVB radiation are a direct, evidence-based intervention. If you have darker eyes, the elevated cataract risk from internal heat absorption over decades makes annual eye examinations more valuable as you age. Studies also suggest that darker-eyed individuals may benefit from closer monitoring of intraocular pressure as a precaution related to glaucoma risk. For everyone, regardless of eye color, regular comprehensive eye exams remain one of the most underused preventive health tools available. Many systemic diseases, diabetes, hypertension, multiple sclerosis, leave early detectable signs in the eye before symptoms appear elsewhere in the body. Your eye color is not a random cosmetic outcome. It is an expression of a deeply integrated biological system, one that connects pigment chemistry, immune function, neural architecture, sensory sensitivity, and disease susceptibility into a single visible trait. Your eyes have been telling this story your entire life. Now you have the context to read it. And perhaps the most empowering thing this science offers is the reminder that your body is not a collection of isolated parts. Every visible trait is a thread in a larger tapestry of biology, and understanding even one thread more clearly is always worth your attention.